Alright, what is going on, y'all? And today, it's a day, no more waiting. We have opening night of NBA basketball. Always one of the more exciting days, at least for me. I'm excited. Can't wait for tonight. Um, with that being said, before we know the season kicks off, before I want to have a video, I want this video out. I want to talk about more NBA players that needs more opportunity. So I'm going to be doing a 30 team rundown. I'm going to go through this as quick as I can. With that being said, let's get right into the video, man. So first up, we have the Boston Celtics, and a player who I do believe that will get more opportunity. Obviously, because they extended his contract, was long as stay healthy. I think that'd be one of the better contracts in the league. And that's Robert Williams. I believe he's a double machine. I think he should be the starting center. I don't know if they're gonna start Al Horford or Robert Williams, but when healthy, I think Robert Williams should be the starting center. If not, he should be getting starting minutes. I think he's the center for Boston, center of the future for Boston. All right, next up, we have the Brooklyn Nets. And I think this is obvious. Nicholas Claxton. I've been preaching this all last year. I thought he should have been starting after they traded away Jared Allen to get James Harden. I wasn't a big fan of DeAndre Jordan getting heavy minutes. Obviously, I know his connection with KD and Kyrie, but I thought Nicholas Claxton should have been getting starting minutes, and I thought he should have been a starting center. Um, we'll see how it goes this year. Well, Marcus Aldridge in the mix, I think he should be getting a lot of minutes. If not, if Marcus Aldridge or Blake Griffin are the starting center, I think he should be back up five. I think he has the potential to be the best defensive big. He gets forced out and guard on the perimeter, protects the rim very well, runs the floor very well. So with more opportunity, I think he can really show something this year. All right, next up we have the New York Knicks. Mayor Quickly is my guy who I think need to get more opportunity. Obviously, he showed flashes of being a three-level scorer, being the scoring punch off the bench. I think with the addition of Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, I think he'd be a perfect role for six man. 6 man, 7 man, being that guard next to D Rose, and that's a heck of a scoring punch off the bench. All right, next up we had the Philadelphia 76ers. Originally, I was gonna go with Matisse Andaro, but I'm going with Tyrese Maxey. Love the flash that he showed during the rookie year. He has something to be pretty special. He could be the probably start point guard if and when I'm saying when Ben Simmons gets traded, because I don't see Ben Simmons lasting the whole season in Philly. I'd be surprised if he does. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong about that. But I think Tyrese Maxey has the opportunity to be a 15 plus per game scorer. Maybe not this season, but in the near future. I think he got some real scoring potential. All right, next up we had Toronto Raptors, and I had a hard one picking this one out. I went Gary Trent Jr. I know they extended him. Glad that this team I truly believe in him. I really liked him in Portland. Didn't like that trade for Portland, but if he's not a starting guard, I think he's had the opportunity to be a great 6 man. He could be a two-way player. Love his ability to score from three levels. So fast at being more than just a three-point shooter, but he shows some off the dribble scoring as well, and I love the way he competes on defense. I think he'd thrive in Toronto. They are definitely one of the best player development organizations. So yeah. So next up we have the Chicago Bulls, and I thought this was a pretty easy one. It's Pat Williams. A lot of people criticize the Bulls picking him at 4. I didn't know who he was. I wasn't the biggest fan of him at 4, but early on last year, I see why he was picked 4th. He's showing flashes, in my opinion, star potential. I'm not saying he's Kawhi Leonard. I know I'm missing this a lot, but he kind of do remind me of early San Antonio Kawhi Leonard, like Kawhi rookie year, second year in San Antonio. Um, I think he's the X factor for the Bulls. I hope they feature him more in the offense this year when he get back healthy. With the Bulls this year, I don't know if he's gonna miss opening night or opening week, but I think he's the X factor for the Bulls. I think he has star potential. Maybe he won't have hopefully impressive offensive number this year, but I think he got a chance to be a two-way all star in this league. All right, next up we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I went with Isaac Okoro. Obviously, all the young talent that Cleveland's collecting with Evan Mobley, they just extended Jared Allen, and then obviously Darius Garland in college section. I think Isaac Curl last year first round pick. It's kind of the forgotten man. Obviously he shown big time flaws as a defender. Got the potential to be a very good defender in this league. He shown late last year. He showed some scoring potential. Showed some ability to score off the dribble. Love the way he slashed and attacked the basket. If you can add that 3-point shot, that can go ways for him. That can go a long ways for him. All right, next up we had the Detroit Pistons, and the player I went with was Saddiq Bey. My previous video I talked about the most underrated player on each team. I went with Isaiah Stewart. My other candidate was Saddiq Bey. So I think long as Detroit don't forget about Saddiq Bey, which I think they won't, which I don't think they will. Excuse me. I think he got opportunity to be one heck of a 3D player with potential to show more than just being a 3D player. I'm not saying he's exactly Mikal Bridges, he played the same Mikal Bridges, but he's that Villanova product. I think him and Mikal Bridges are very similar players, and I think they could be very very similar players not only in the league but production wise as well. I think he'd be that type of player for Detroit in the future. Obviously, the main focal point is Cade, and we're gonna see what they like to do with Killian Hayes. Detroit got a very good young group. And I think Saddiq Bey has the opportunity to be more than just a 3D player. Alright, next up, we had the Indiana Pacers, and I went with Goga Bitadze. In case you guys don't know who he are, he's kind of in the crowded front court. Obviously, you got Miles Turner and Sabonis, but when Bitadze got the opportunity, he showed flaws of being a well-scoring big man. Got nice footwork, can stretch off the floor. Love the way he plays, but it is unfortunate that Indiana Pacers got a lot of bigs. They kind of have a crowded front court. And I think if he's in a different situation, I think he can really showcase and produce more and showcase his full ability. Next up, we have the Milwaukee Bucks, and this was a tough one, man, because obviously this team is very stable. Pretty much we know who the Milwaukee Bucks are already, defending champs. But a lot of people did forget that after the first round, Donte DiVincenzo missed the rest of the playoffs. So they didn't have Donte DiVincenzo during the championship run. I thought he was a very underrated piece for this Milwaukee squad. Obviously, he showed flashes of being more than just a 3D player. He's an all-rounder type. Doesn't do one thing great, but he does everything well. I think he's shown, like I said, he's shown flashes of being more than just a 3D player. He's shown flashes of being a shot creator. He's shown flashes of being a potentially 15 plus point per game scorer. And I still think that's the opportunity for him to be a 15 plus per game scorer while being an underrated defender. Alright, next up, here's one of my favorite players, and I see a lot of people giving up on him, surprisingly, before the playoffs last year, and that's Cam Reddish. He's someone I'm very high on. I do think that he's kind of lost himself with Atlanta Slater wings for DeAndre Hunter. They just sent to Kevin Huerter. But in my opinion, I still think he's the most talented wing in Atlanta. I truly do believe if he was in a different situation, I think he would thrive a lot more than he is, currently in Atlanta. Obviously, they're a winning team right now, but I think Cam Reddish still got, in my opinion, all-star potential, if not all-star potential, high-end role player, high-end starter. And I just think Atlanta is too crowded right now. I would love to see Cam Reddish in a different situation. Next up, we have the Charlotte Hornets. And this man, in my opinion, has become the forgotten man among the Charlotte rotation or lineup. That's P.J. Washington. He's the definition of steady. Not saying they play the same, but he reminds me of Paul Millsap doing the Atlanta Hawks days. Does everything well. He's the perfect, my opinion, stretch 4, small ball 5. Love his ability to stretch the floor. Love the way he defends out. Love the way he defends for us. I love the way he's always steady. He's just a definition of being consistent. Alright, next up, we have the Miami Heat. And Miami Heat is a very interesting team, but I went with Max Strus. A lot of people don't know who he is, but if you watch Miami Heat, if you definitely watch their preseason games, watch Summer League, and even towards the end of last year, Max Strus As excuse me if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, last name wrong, but he's the definition. He had the position to be a rotation guy for Miami Heat. I love the way he can score at the wing position. I love the way he can shoot the ball. Um, got some off the dribble potential. I think he could be a rotation piece for Miami. He could be a good role player for Miami. To me, he's a hidden gem for that Miami squad. All right, next up, we have the Orlando Magic, and I think this is one of the most obvious players who need more opportunity. A lot of people is kind of giving up on Mo Bamba, but he's still young. I'm not all the way out on him yet, but like I said, Mo Bamba. Obviously, he got drafted by Orlando Magic. Didn't really get much opportunity to begin with, being behind Nikola Vucevic. They just finally traded away Nikola Vucevic at the trade deadline last year. Pick up Wendell Carter. He's still behind Wendell Carter. I think this year, I want to say it's kind of the make or break year for him in terms of being with the Orlando Magic. But he's someone who had a very good preseason. You can tell during the offseason he worked on his body, got a lot stronger. I'm interested to see how Mo Bamba played with a big opportunity this season. He still get a big opportunity. Probably will be playing behind Wendell Carter, but I think they should be splitting those minutes. All right, next up we have the Washington Wizards, and I went with Rui Hachimura. I think Rui Hachimura is one of the more underrated young guys. I still think he got potential to be a borderline all-star. I could think he could be the second option. Obviously, I think we don't know how Spencer Dinwiddie going to return for his ACL injury, and he more than likely going to be the second option. Then you got Kyle Kuzma, who could potentially be a second and third option. But I think Rui Hachimura is a potential building block for this Washington Wizards squad. He's a player who you can play either at the 3 or 4 spot. He could play either wing, forward position. He got potential to be an all-around scorer. Love the way he attacked the basket. Love the way he shoot off the dribble from the mid-range area. His biggest difference for him is being more consistent for 3. If he become more consistent for 3, I think he could be a borderline all-star in this league. I truly do believe that. All right. Next up, we have the Denver Nuggets. And I went with Bones Highland. Originally, I was going to go with Bobo, but it just seems to me like Denver don't truly believe in him. And I do believe that Bobo need to go in a different situation. I still don't understand why he never got, was given an opportunity. Obviously, he got a very thin frame, but he could be, don't want to say unicorn type out there, but he could be a productive backup big. And he never had the opportunity with Denver. Mike Malone was kind of known for not getting the young guys a lot of opportunity. But, like I was, saying, Bones Highland for me, I love the pick for Denver late in the first round. I thought that was an absolute steal. I was someone who was high on Bones Highland. Watching him a lot last year at VCU. He's an absolute bucket. I hope Mike Malone, since he got a tendency to not play with his rookies a lot, I hope he can have a lot of opportunity off the bench. I love Denver to play Bones Highland against second units. He could be an absolute bucket. Denver last year, they won flaw last year with Jamal Murray going out. They did have a lot of scoring in the backcourt. I think Bones Highland is a player who can kind of mitigate those, lack of scoring in the backcourt. I think he's an absolute bucket. And I think he's going to be potentially a backcourt starter next to Jamal Murray. If not, he could be like a Jamal Crawford. He could play a Jamal Crawford role and be an outstanding 6-man scorer. All right, next up we had the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I went with Jaden McDaniels. A lot of people sleep on Jaden McDaniels. Obviously, a lot of people didn't watch Minnesota Timberwolves last year. Obviously, Cat got hurt. D'Lo was hurt. Love the way Anthony Edwards played in the second half. But love the way Minnesota ended this season last year. I think he's a very good forward next to Cat. He can really defend forwards. He got the potential to be more than just a 3-and-D player. I think he got huge offensive potential. I think he could be more than just a 3-and-D player. He could be a stretch. I don't want to say stretch forward. He could be. He can have off the dribble potential. Very lanky frame at 6'11". I think the sky is the limit for him, man. All right, next up we have the Oklahoma City Thunder, and you could have won with anybody besides Shea when we need big opportunity, because that pretty much everybody's Oklahoma City. They gonna have opportunity to showcase themselves. Oklahoma City is probably one of not second or third youngest team in the league, or maybe the youngest team in the league. correct me in the comment section about that. Let me know in the comments section about that. But I went with Theo Maledon. Obviously they drafted Josh Giddey and Trey Mann. Obviously they got Lou Dort, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He can kind of get lost in the mix. I think he might have went down the pecking order. He's a rookie last year who led them in minutes. Led the team in minutes last year. I think he got potential to be a very good backup starting point guard in the league. He'd be, in my opinion, a very solid backup for the OKC Thunder in the future. It's just that they added another guard, multiple guards, Trey Mann, Josh Giddey. So it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize him. And maybe he won't get a much opportunity or play how many minutes that he did last year. It's going to be interesting. Next up, we have the Portland Trailblazers, and I want Anthony Simons. Obviously, besides, I thought about Nassar Little, but I think Anthony Simons is someone they've been hyping up so much, but he's been behind Dame and CJ for so long that we haven't really seen him in huge, in a lot of minutes. He so flashes every now and then, every time I watch Portland, but he never been able to put it together. He hasn't been consistent yet, and a lot of that, in my opinion, has been due to the fact that he hasn't been given the consistent minutes in Portland. Hope this year, the final year that they decide to get him the consistent minutes. Still be their sixth man, and I still think he got a lot of potential. He's still very young in this league. It's like he's been in this league for he's like an NBA vet, but people tend to forget he's still only 2021, so he got a lot of room to grow. He's still very young, so it's gonna be interesting to see where they go from there. All right, next up we have the Utah Jazz, and I want Eric Pascal. He's someone who in Golden State had a very good rookie year. Was in the Rising Stars game last year. Then kind of fell down the rotation due to the fact that he was injured a lot of time, and Golden State wasn't really in need of him no more. And I'm glad that he got an opportunity. Another opportunity with Utah, got a chance to reunite with his childhood friend and Donovan Mitchell. I think he'd be a perfect in the second unit, for Utah. All right, next up we had the Golden State Warriors. Jordan Poole is the most popular pick, but I think he's going to be in the most improved conversation. And I'm kind of leaning towards him being the most improved player, if I'm going to be honest. But I went with Juan Toscano Anderson. Loved the way he played with Golden State last year. Kind of somebody they just picked off waivers. And he really turned himself into an NBA contract. Love his story, man. If you guys don't see his story, please look up his story and watch it. It's incredible, man. These are moments you live for and you love to see. But he's someone who plays hard. He earned himself a consistent role with the Golden State team. He just fit the Golden State mode. So I'm interested to see how they utilize him with Klay coming back and adding more depth to this team. And I'm very excited for this Golden State team. All right, next up we had the LA Clippers. And I think this is the easy pick, but I want Terrence Mann. Obviously, the breakout performance he had against Utah in the playoffs last year. Love the way he played in the playoffs. I was somebody who thought he should have been getting more minutes last year and during the regular season as well. But with Kawhi going down, I think he had a lot more opportunity. I don't know if he's starting, but he should be one of the first players off the bench. I think he should be their sixth man, if I'm going to be honest. If he's not starting. I really do believe he should be a starter. And I think he might be in, not for a most improved type of breakout season, but I think he's in and due for a breakout season for himself. All right, next up we have the LA Lakers. I wanted Taylor Horton-Tucker, he's someone I've been high on ever since I've been watching him in high school as Simeon. I truly believe he got starter potential. If he was a lot of other team or rebuilding team, he'd be a starter. I think he could average 15, 16 plus a game if he's in a different situation. I truly believe that the Lakers not maximizing his potential. I think he got a lot more. He can show a lot more than what he's producing in LA due to the fact that they're a championship team. You got LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and now Westbrook's in the mode. It's going to be interesting to see how he blends in with those star talents. All right, next up we had the Phoenix Suns, and I went with Mikal Bridges. I really thought about Cameron Johnson, but I think Mikal Bridges had more room to grow. I think he's more than just a 3D player. I think he's shown a lot of flashes of being more than a 3D player. I think he shows an off-the-dribble potential. He's someone who I would not be surprised if he averages close to 20 points. Maybe not this year, but in the future. It's gonna be interesting to see how he continue to get better with Chris Paul aging. So next up we have the Sacramento Kings, and here's gonna be an unpopular pick. And I know a lot of people kind of written him off, but I want Marvin Bagley. I truly do believe that Luke Walton had not been utilizing Marvin Bagley right. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the fact that he had to be able to stay healthy. But when he's been staying healthy, I think he's been producing and been fine. It is main problem that his inability to stay healthy. Luke Walton not utilizing him correctly, in my opinion. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see if he do decide or if he do end up in a different new situation. See how he can rebound from from him not meeting up to expectations, being number 2 pick, and obviously the main thing on his resume is being drafted ahead of Luke and Trae Young. All right, next up we have the Dallas Mavericks, and I went with Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson is a starter in this league. Obviously last year I thought he had an underrated season. Didn't get talked about a lot. Obviously the main focal point was Luka and KP, but I thought Jalen Brunson was at times a third or fourth best player on this roster, alongside him and Tim Hardaway Jr. But I think if Jalen Brunson is not starting this year, I think he should be the sixth man. I would truly believe that he had a very underrated season last year, and Ricardo also emphasized how good a season he had last year. I just hope Jason Kidd don't, kick Jalen Brunson out of the mix. Keep him involved in offense. Next up, we have the Houston Rockets. I went with Kevin Martin Jr. Kevin Martin Jr., I love the way he played last year. Obviously, they got 4 new rookies, including Jalen Green, Alfred Sengun. So obviously the main focal point is going to be developing Jalen Green, Alfred Sengun, Usman Garuba, and Josh Christopher. But I just hope that Kevin Martin Jr. don't, fall out the mix, with Houston attaining a lot of young talent. They're going to be very exciting in the future. All right, next up we have the Memphis Grizzlies, and I went Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane is someone who had a very solid rookie season. He kind of shocked me, honestly. I didn't know too much about him last year when Memphis picked him, but he ended up being the best shooter in the draft last year, with potential to be a two-way player. Obviously, right now, I think he's could be a pretty good 3-and-D player, but I think there's more room for him to grow, and I would be surprised if you add him to that starter. If he eventually be the starting shooting guard small forward next to Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks. So yeah. Next up, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm saying on this bandwagon, man. I've been high on him since last year. I thought he got more opportunity last year, but I'm very high on him this year. Love the work he put in this offseason. I'm going to Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I think he's in the room for a breakout season, and I hope that the Pelicans start him. I think he should be this starting guard next to Devontae Graham. I actually, in my opinion, would have started Nickeil Alexander-Walker over Devontae Graham and probably start Josh Hart. That'd be my starting lineup. But I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is very underrated. I think he's the underrated 3-level scorer. He's an underrated playmaker. Even when he got started minutes, look at the numbers when he got started minutes. He averaged 17 plus points per game, pretty good efficiency. I think he needs more opportunity, and if he don't end up being a starter and they don't use him in New Orleans, I think he can thrive somewhere like OKC or another rebuilding team. I truly do believe he can be a very good 3-level scorer in this league. All right, last but not least, we have the San Antonio Spurs, and I went with Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is someone I thought was going to be a top 10 pick last year. Ended up going fall down a little bit to the Spurs at 11 and 12, I believe. Obviously, Greg Popovich don't play rookies a lot. Typically send them to a G League. But Devin Vassell didn't get sent down to a G League last year. Only other rookie besides Kawhi Leonard who didn't get sent down to a G League. But he had inconsistent minutes. But when he got extended minutes, he was a very good 3-and-D player. And I think he got the potential to be more than just a solid 3-and-D player. So I don't know if he's going to start this year. But he need to be in the top 7 rotation. I think he's eventually going to be, in that starting role. I truly believe he's going to be that wing next to Keldon Johnson. Love to see him, Keldon Johnson, for the future of San Antonio Wings. I think he got a lot more potential. And I think San Antonio is notorious for, obviously, they focus on developing the young guys. and not playing the young guys a lot of minutes. But I think Devin Vassell, if he get on release this year, do not be surprised if he put up or he showed out this year. So with that being said, I had talked for over 25 minutes. I try to keep this video as short as possible, but in case you guys do not know, I'm excited for this NBA season. Can't wait for tonight. Let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about my list. Do you guys agree or disagree? Let me know. But with that being said, man, NBA basketball here. Also, comment below who you guys got tonight in tonight's games. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. If you guys not watching tonight's game, I don't know what you guys are doing. I hope you guys enjoy tonight's games for those who are watching the games tonight. So, yeah. I'm rambling on now. With that being said, man, I'll catch you guys later, man. NBA season is back. Basketball is back, baby.